And let's talk about Benito. So, congratulations to Benito because he is out here making bank, being the first ever Latin artist to gross 1 billion in touring. And look at here, he didn't even have to come to the United States and tour because of a certain asshole in the White House and their crackdown on immigration. He went around the world and and said fuck America, and look, still brought in $1 billion. So when people tell you that you need America to make a coin, you don't. And this man has literally got people not wanting to come here because of their bigoted ignorance. So people not want to come here and work and do all these other things. It's literally causing us to lose money. And then other conglomerates, other places around the world start to be able to reap those financial benefits that we as a young country should be benefiting. But because we got certain, you know, what do you call them? The sleeper generation type people in office who got 9 toes in the damn grave. They're the ones that's literally trying to destroy what's left of our country, but trying to blame the immigrants and trans people. So yeah, shout out to Bad Bunny for this. Now, uh the massive success of Bad Bunny's latest album, or I should say his Debbie Tira Mas Fotos world tour, has helped him break several records. According to Billboard Box Score, which has tabulated tour data for the past 4 decades. Most significantly, the tour, which included stadium gigs in South America, Australia, Asia, and Europe. I think he had a long tour in Australia, but you know, the Australians, you could do like a whole week there and they'll all come out because they don't really, I think because it's so far that they come out in droves for these shows. But anyway, so they said those stadium gigs in South America, Australia, Asia, and Europe propelled his total gross touring revenue beyond the 1 billion mark, making him not only the first Latin artist to achieve this distinction, but for artists who don't perform in English. Fewer than 25 acts have achieved this feat. Additionally, his disinterest in touring in the United States made the tour the highest grossing and best selling tour in history to ignore the States. You hear that, dumbass Trump? Now, the Debbie Te Damas Fotos World Tour is also Bad Bunny's biggest tour ever. So far, it has grossed 360 million and sold 2.4 million tickets, including a 10 gig residency in Madrid. That's oh yeah, that is my where I'm from. My family is from Madrid. I was like, I had to think about that for a second. I was like, yeah, it's Madrid. Those figures surpass the success of his 2022 outing, World's Hottest Tour, which claimed him 314.4 million in gross sales and 1.9 million tickets. Now, for context, Billboard reports Bad Bunny has grossed nearly twice as much as Take That, who launched a tour that avoided the US in 2011 and earned them 185.2 million. Similarly, the Rolling Stones 2014 tour in Asia, Europe, and Oceania grossed 165.2 million. I actually thought, another thing. I sworn Take That was touring again because the other day, I don't remember exactly when, it might have been yesterday or just, I'll just say the other day to play it safe. I was scrolling on Instagram and I'm hearing in the background, I want you back. I want you back for good. You know that the Take Back's biggest hit. Um, and they were in a stadium and I'm seeing like parachutes and all kinds of crazy stuff, like hot air balloons, and it looked like a big circus that was going on. And people talking about how like great the show is. So I'm like, is that recent? Because they're doing stadiums and all this other stuff and being very successful and not coming here, which is basically showing up when people go around with this ignorant crap about immigrants and they don't want other people coming here. What you're doing is you're ostracizing us from the rest of the world while other countries are benefiting from things that we should be benefiting from. And it also proves that you don't need America to be successful. So I think a lot of people need to think outside the box in regards of stop thinking that America is the gold standard for performing and touring and all this other stuff. If you go outside, there are artists who have had bigger careers outside of doing the United States, and people feel like, oh, you ain't shit, you ain't gonna be successful, you're not in America. Not necessarily. There are people that have maintained major careers without having to touch America. Because I feel like a lot of times when it comes to American music fans or things of that nature, y'all are all about who's hot at the moment or chasing what's popular rather than having, I'm not saying all, because there are people that are loyal to their fans, I mean to their favorite artists. But then there are people who literally would just be like, you only want to stick to what's popular at the moment and you don't follow those people career decade after decade after decade, if their careers last that long. So, um, okay, I think I finished that part because I was aware of my. Okay, so now they said Bad Bunny previously broke records when his 2020 album El Último Tour del Mundo became the first all Spanish album to top Billboard. Now, last September, Bad Bunny also said that he chose to skip the U.S. on the Debí Tiramos Fotos World Tour because he was worried about the Trump administration's rhetoric and ICE actions in deporting Latinos. Now, at the time, he was performing a residency in PR, saying, I've enjoyed connecting with Latinos who have been living in the U.S., but specifically for a residency here in Puerto Rico, where we are in incorporated territory of the U.S. People from the U.S. could come here to see the show. Latinos and Puerto Ricans of the US could also travel here or to any part of the world. But there was the issue of like fucking ICE could be outside my concert. And it's something that we were talking about and very concerned about. Now, one US performance he did turn down. I mean, he didn't turn down, though, was the Super Bowl halftime. As y'all know, 137.8 million viewers tune in to watch and bitch and moan and complain, some of them and decided to hit the FCC because they've never seen people with rhythm move their hips in front of millions of people. Because this is how they dance. They don't know how to move what's down here. So, congratulations to you, Benito, and I want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of this story regarding the latest on Benito? Um, being the first ever Latin artist to gross a billion in touring and being the most successful that didn't even have to compromise his heritage in order to do it. Meaning, because you remember back in the day, in the days of the Latin explosion, with Mark Anthony and Enrique Iglesias and Ricky Martin and Jennifer Lopez and the rest of them, how they decided to go off and in order for us to cross and Shakira, can't forget to put her in there too. Although now she's gone back to doing the Spanish stuff, but she mixes it up. Um, Having to compromise your heritage. Yeah, we can have the rhythms and things, but we got to speak English in order to cross over to the Anglo market. Bad Bunny proved that you don't have to. That you could have just been your authentic self, speaking your native language, and the people will come. Because I do feel like music is a universal language. You don't necessarily have to speak the language to for the music to move you. And there's a lot of non-English speaking music that I listen to, but I don't understand what the hell they're saying, and I get into it because of the music, because the cadence, the way they deliver on the songs, the way they sing it, the way they rap, or whatever the case is it moves me in a certain way where I just feel like I'm connecting with the music rather than being like, well, you need to understand what these people are saying. Y'all need to speak English. I don't believe in all that. I just feel like music is the one language that connects us all in the end. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.